Ted Cruz is in the news, and he's touting right before the Christmas season that he has a decent chance in a 2024 election, despite Trump constantly saying that he's very obviously, probably, unless there's a medical incident, going to run for president. What do you think about Ted Cruz running for president again?
Good luck with that, Mr. Cruz. You're not very charismatic, so you're gonna need all the luck you can get, buddy.
You don't think he's charismatic? You don't think that
No.
him immediately simping for the man who insulted his wife multiple times on the campaign trail for power, him simping for him just so he could have power, is not a charismatic move?
That is not a particularly charismatic move. That is a very simpy and beta move. But that is even what I was thinking about. Just God, it's really hard to listen to Ted Cruz talk.
Did you see his recent speech at the conference in that conservative conference that was just going on?
Toilet Paper USA or whatever.
Yeah, Toilet Paper USA.
I have not been watching Toilet Paper USA coverage.
Well, he went there and he spoke, and his speech was just basically haikus. It was like cops.
What?
Yeah, he went up there. He said, "Cops good," and everyone cheered. Literally, this was like the first 10 minutes of his speech. Cops good. Antifa bad. Communism bad, and the people would cheer or boo depending on it. It was like the Louis Griffin 9/11 speech. You know what I'm talking about? Which just says 9/11. Everyone cheer. It was literally that. You think I'm playing? I can actually. I'll just play the first minute of it, and you get what I'm saying. That he was quite literally just doing haikus. By the way, look, I'll dunk on.
Oh my God!
I'll dunk on them for everything. But unironically, everybody hates on them for the sparklers and music. But as somebody who runs a wrestling championship, right? I actually like the showmanship. I'm gonna be honest. I like the sparklers. I like the dun 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 dun. You know.
I do like it. It's funny juxtaposed with Ted Cruz.
That's true. It's true. It is. It'd be like if Ben Shapiro shuffles out and they have heavy metal music. Fucking Metallica played Ben Shapiro out. It's a little not exactly what I expected. Wow! Woo! Hey, Cruz!
God bless Turning Point. What an incredible, passionate, visionary army of patriots.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Here it comes. Listen to this shit.
I'm going to commit a radical act. I'm going to speak the truth.
He's going to say conservative talking points at a conservative conference. Very brave. You know, it'd be brave if he took out an American flag and burned it on stage. That would be
brave.
That would be a brave, not a smart move. Not a good idea, but that'd be a brave thing to do at this conference, okay? That would bravery at this conference would look like. Not what he's about to do. But here comes the haikus.
America is great. Christopher Columbus discovering America was a good thing. George Washington was an extraordinary patriot.
Woo!
I mean, that part's true.
Thomas Jefferson was an extraordinary patriot. The Chinese communists are evil bastards.
I like that. He's like, I just want to tell everybody, I love my country. I love our patriots who help build. Fuck the Chinese. I love this country just randomly. Just randomly.
To be honest, it's kind of funny. Everything else was cringe. That was the best line so far.
It's a haiku. It's a conservative haiku. That's what he's doing. He's doing conservative slam poetry. Okay? I've waited for it. I thought it would never come, but Ted Cruz has officially started conservative slam poetry.
Kind of based.
Israel is our friend. Police officers keep us safe. The Wuhan virus came from Wuhan.
He just goes on like this, okay?
Does he bring up CRT? Because I would bet
Oh,
we get a
wait for
CRT
it,
mentioned
wait for
within
it.
about five. Within about 5, yeah.
And there is a difference between boys
Oh.
and girls.
Oh,
So
I was
thought it
almost a
CRT.
prophet.
Almost.
Now I want you to pause.
Yeah, nah, he didn't do CRT, but he starts it with conservative slam poetry. Very charismatic. But he said in a interview about his election chances. Let's watch this interview as he talks about how that's gonna get him make him become president.
Another election coming up in 2024. So aside from the midterms,
he being interviewed by a
thoughts on the
12-year-old?
field of
Well, he does look he looks like he looks like Andy from Toy Story in the first episode, the first movie.
another election coming up in 2024.
Why is his tie so long? It's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, exactly. It looks like a kid that like you're dressing them up.
He's
with the
imitating
clothes-
Trump. He's doing the long
Yeah.
Trump tie. Trump inspired.
Another election coming up in 2024. So aside from the midterms, what are your thoughts on the field of potential candidates going into 2024? And would you ever consider another run for president?
Absolutely. In a heartbeat. You know, I ran in 2016. It was the most fun I've ever had in my life. We had a
Also, can I just question? I'm sorry, this is not related. Do you see my current setup with my lights? How they're just there
Yeah.
and nowhere else? It's because I got lazy and I fell asleep. So that's that's our light setup for today. By the way, for the 24 hours Christmas stream. If I move enough, you can see it flashing like big down there, and that's because they're all just bundled.
You just
up
have them
down there.
you have them in a pile.
I have them in a pile. I got bored. Dude, these wires are unbelievably complicated, okay? It's very complicated. When Kat gets here, hopefully she can fix it. Cause I can't take the time to do it, and I have chubby man fingers and they're not working. But you know, anyway, let's just continue. Sorry, deviation.
a very crowded field. We had 17 candidates in the race, very strong field, and I ended up placing second. And you know, there's a reason historically that the runner-up is almost always the next nominee, and that's been true going back to Nixon or Reagan.
Wait,
or
But the problem,
true?
the problem why Ted Cruz, the reason why Ted Cruz was second, is because he just stayed in the longest, and everyone betted on him because he was the only other option besides Trump. The problem with Ted Cruz thinking that he's like, he'd be able to get this one is Ted Cruz was the alternative to Trump, right? And that's why he was able to stay second and last as long. He's now fully embraced Trumpism. And the problem is, the establishment which propped him up in the 2016 primary, 2015 primary, hate Ted Cruz. People, like literally, if you listen, I forgot, it was the former Speaker of the House. If anybody can find me the link on this, his statement's hilarious. He like was literally just fucking was like, I hate that motherfucker, son of a bitch, Ted Cruz. Like the establishment of the Republican Party hates Ted Cruz because he's kind of like a really hardcore Tea Party. They say he's terrible to work with. They just don't like him. And so
Is
yeah.
he popular with like people? Like
Yeah, Boner.
the-
Boner. I forgot his name is Boner. But I forget his name, how to pronounce it. But yeah, if somebody can find me his statement on Ted Cruz, link it to me. I'd appreciate it. Because
Yeah.
it is the funniest thing in the world. So the problem with him like thinking that like I'm the next option, even though he certainly does have a shot, is that the Republican establishment would much rather prop up somebody like, say, Mike Pence or maybe Ron DeSantis than someone like Ted Cruz because of their historical relationship with him. And he's no longer seen as an alternative to Trump because he's fully like embraced Trumpism when it comes to the anti-Trumpers that were backing him before. And so he would be seen as this kind of weird middle ground that, and plus he's also super uncharismatic and also lost a bitter work in Texas, right? So that, not to mention Cancun Cruz, and there's like a lot of baggage. Basically all the Republican nominees have baggage, but Ted Cruz is like a perpetual like goof machine, you know?
he just strikes me as one of the like very unlikely to ever be the nominee. in
Oh,
general
here's
election.
the statement. Here's the statement. This was in his book after he retired. Because he said this because he no longer cared because he retired.
Lucifer in the flesh. I have a history of getting along with mentioned, I have as many Democrat friends as I have Republican friends. I get along with almost everybody. But I've never worked with a more miserable son of a bitch.
I fucking hate him. They hate Ted Cruz. They called him Lucifer in the flesh, and this is the former House Speaker. He's the former Speaker of the House. This isn't like just some random Republican.
I mean, like, I know someone who voted for him in the primary, and they don't even like him. It was like how you would hear people talk about Hillary. Like, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for her."
I'm gonna vote for. I'm voting for Ted because I don't like Trump, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, basically.
Let's finish the interview. There's not a lot left of it.
McCain or Romney, that has played out repeatedly. You come in with just an enormous base of support. You know, in 2016, we raised over $92 million. That was the most money any Republican has ever raised in the history of presidential.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to bring up his Fox Nation fucking speech again one more time because I watched it all on stream. He goes there and he does a call to action. Can you guess what his call to action was?
His call to action where?
His call to action during his speech. You know how like people will say, "I need you all to get involved," like a call to action. You know what a call to action is, right?
Oh, probably donate. I mean, I would guess to donate for some impending threat. Which
okay.
I mean, there's the Republicans. You never know which one it is.
So the thing is, right? He said a few. Like one was get involved in campaigns, which I think is pretty beta for like a established politician. Because I always say like school board campaigns and like local boards and stuff like that. That's the type of stuff I usually tell people to get involved in. So it's kind of weird. Little weird, champ. But I guess that is also what benefits him personally the most, which is what Ted Cruz's career has always been about. But let me see if I can find it, because it is the most hilarious
There
shit.
is a difference.
It is literally like streamer egocentric like levels. 1 second. See if I can find it.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, it is.
Take to screw in a light bulb.
I believe Ted can do it.
Ate my son.
Oh yeah, this was a weird moment.
Laughter,
this is a weird moment too. Let me play this one. This is Mr. Charisma, who's going to be president.
On with joy. You know, there's a meme online. It's a picture of me. It says, Ted Cruz ate my son. I saw it. I retweeted it. I said, he was delicious.
Cool.
I don't know why he went on stage to do this, okay? The only way this could be worse if it was Matt Gaetz was saying this. Because he doesn't have a good history with, you know, eating the youth, so to speak.
Yeah, it's also so cringe to me that we're like consistently now bringing up Twitter and like conversations about politics that could potentially be serious, but we're like, oh, Twitter analysis. Like,
like I'm waiting for it at the end of the speech. This speech deserves Reddit gold, you know? Just...
Yeah, like, by the way, guys, like and retweet. Help me ratio.
No, here it comes. Let me see if it's really? At the end.
Be joyful, happy warriors for liberty. As I look across this room,
let me say, does he do it at the end?
See, the future of history doesn't repeat, but sometimes took Jimmy Carter. Leave the most long leaders right. We will say.
Nope, I gotta remember
They're
where it was.
so unhappy. Called out, said, "Well, how many?"
I gotta find
How many
it.
radical leftists does
I gotta find where he does it, because it's the worst thing he could have done.
Take to screw in a light. Voted for Joe Biden. But we've got to find ways to communicate. It's your grandkids.
Here it is. Here it is. I found it. I found it.
In the Senate, in the Supreme Court, in the White House, in the country. The podcast.
By the way, he's basically doing like a he's basically doing a mullet at this point from some angles.
Weeks we were the #1 ranked podcast.
Yeah.
Here it is.
To go knock on doors, to go make phone calls,
here it is.
To go engage, to use the power of the patriots here. And then #3. Look, we all recognize
This is his last. This is the main thing. This is the main thing that people should do. The third thing, the last thing he says.
The thing you build up to, the most
Yes,
important
yes,
part.
the most important part.
the media is corrupt. They are propagandists. And we've got to find ways to communicate going around them. One of the ways I'm trying to do it is last year I launched a podcast called Verdict with Ted Cruz. We launched it in January of last year from a stone cold start. And within a few weeks, we were the #1 ranked podcast in the world. We've had over...
What?
By the way, he's lying. That's not true. He didn't.
That can't be true.
He didn't beat out Joe Rogan. He probably means he was #1 podcast on one platform. That's what he probably means.
40 million downloads. We just finished our 100th episode. We put it out about once a week.
He's bragging. He's bragging about his view count.
If you want to know what's going on in the Senate, in the Supreme Court, in the White House, in the country, the podcast, we pull away all the bullshit. And we talk about what's actually happening. So I want to ask everybody under 40 who's here.
Oh my God, he's talking about demographics.
Go subscribe to the podcast.
What? Look, you
And
old
I wanna
fucks, you're already going to
ask
do it.
everybody
You got nothing
who's
else to
over
do.
40, find your kids or your grandkids
Oh my God.
Yes.
and get them to subscribe you to the podcast.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz.
Jesus Christ.
But we've got to find ways to communicate that tells stories, to communicate that has substance.
Basically, yeah. That's his main call to action was to sub to his podcast.
That's fucking hilarious. Have you listened to it? That seems like it would be.
It is not that interesting. Okay.
I was wondering because it seems like it could be good law
wanna-
content,
you
but
wanna
also
go
seems
listen-
like it could be real fucking sleeper Z. Like,
Ted Cruz podcast. If we go listen to it, all right? Verdict with Ted Cruz on Apple Podcasts.
called Verdict. Was he a lawyer?
I have no clue. Listen.
I think he was.
Oh, he released one today.
We have two really important things to celebrate today. We, of course, are celebrating Christmas. That's a pretty big holiday to celebrate. We're also celebrating the 100th episode of Verdict with Ted Cruz. And to celebrate, we're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff. This is Verdict with Ted Cruz.
And silver. They'll even help move your existing IRA or 401k out of the volatile stock market
Oh my
into a
God.
precious metals IRA.
It opens up with the ad. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
what were they talking about?
Fucking gold.
Is it an ad? Oh, it's a gold. It's a gold ad. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And by the way, chat, you can get
Inflation is
exclusive
certainly-
Ted Cruz NFTs.
Exclusive Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. This is the NFT to commemorate that time Trump humiliated my wife on a public stage.
Oh my God, dude, I'd buy that one. What the fuck?
Here at Soundfront, we use stamps.com to send you merch.
They're still going. They're still going.
Cruz,
Bro.
where there are so many ads. When did that happen? When did we start getting? I guess it's good that
Wait, 4 minutes in they're complaining about too many ads after opening with, oh my God.
media and discussion.
So this is the #1 podcast in the world. Let's listen to it. Let's listen to the hardcore content that everybody, apparently more than Joe Rogan somehow, is listening to.
You know, it used to be that you know, the big three, you had ABC, CBS, NBC back when. All right, Michael, I bet do you remember television sets that had knobs that turned? Or was that before your time?
I do, but only because I grew up kind of poor. That's the only reason I remember it, but they were basically extinct by the time I was a kid.
You know, when I was a kid, we had remote control and they called it kids. As in you yell at the kid, go check.
#1 podcast in the world, everybody. #1 riveting content. Riveting.
I'm sorry I suggested that, chat. It's my fault.
Good job. Well, now we know to invest in gold and get stamps, I think.
God.
Wonderful.
5 minutes of ad reads on a 40-minute podcast.
That is true. That is some of the most hardcore shilling I've ever seen. But what is that like? That's like what, 10 to 15%?
Yeah, it's 1/8, so it's like 12%.
Like I'd take like 30 seconds to shill subs on stream, right? I mean, I remember like, oh Jesus, okay, damn. Well, that's Ted Cruz. So, do you think he's gonna be president?
I would bet against it. It would.
You'd bet against it? Why not? Really?
It would absolutely shock me if Ted Cruz became president.
You don't think this man is gonna become president?
Oh my God!
We need to talk about the Castro Ted Cruz connection, Cancun Cruz. Oh, dude, the dog. I remember when. Dude, do you remember what this picture's from?
I have no idea. I don't keep up on the Ted Cruz lore.
I'll tell you about this one. This dog. So this is Ted Cruz's dog. So when they went to Cancun or flew out to Cancun, they left their dog. So then when reporters went to their house to go check up on Ted and stuff, they just took pictures of the dog at the window looking out at the reporters because Ted Cruz and his whole family was gone to Cancun. So this is just his dog alone during like during the crisis. Well, people were freezing to death. That's actually, oh dude, this was right after he lost and he had to phone bank.
Oh, and he was phone banking. Oh my God!
Look how sad he looks.
Holy fuck! It's so cucked.
He's so sad.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's so sad. Poor
just like imagining,
poor baby.
Just imagining a private meeting and Trump's like, listen, Ted, I'll keep your career alive, okay? Everything's gonna be fine. But just all I need, Ted, is for you to get down on your knees and kiss my shoes. That's all I need.
Just lick the dirt.
Just lick my shoes this one time.
The sole of my foot. The thing that gets me about this specifically is I bet this whole time he was just like, because you can see it on his face, I'll just get through this. I'll just get through this. I'll just get through this. Right? Trump will lose.
Yeah.
I'll never have to deal with it again. Trump won.
You're right.
He won. Because that's what everyone thought. That's what every Republican leader thought, if I'm going to be completely honest. They all thought they just have to deal with 4 years of Hillary and get through it, and then they rebounded 2020. And my God, that's not what happened. I bet they were, happy that they had power in the presidency. But my God, on a personal level,
some mixed feelings.
Very mixed feelings on a personal level. There's no way that isn't the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still causing them massive problems. The party's like cleaved in two, basically.
Oh, yeah. You see what Liv Cheney... Well, I don't know if cleaved in two. I would say the majority of the party is pro-Trump enough, while the leadership is, feigning Trump support while they despise him and think he's a problem for the party. And he obviously is a problem for the party because he... problem with Trump is that while he has very, very devoted fan base, he's a ticking time bomb when it comes to like scandals and doing stuff that's gonna like destroy the country.
He's not very thoughtful.
He's not very thoughtful. No, he's not very thoughtful. Like when he had his lawyer draw a plan to overthrow the country.
Yeah, or the General Salami stuff, like
General Salami. The man was blown up. Has he not already suffered enough?
Okay, Qasim Soleimani, or whatever the fuck you say that.
Wow. Now you're gonna say that butcher's name with respect. How dare you?
Well, did I get it wrong? I think that's how you pronounce his name.
No. I'm saying you're saying it with respect. How dare you?
Yeah.
He's a butcher. Oh, that was it, dude. There's so many of these pictures. This was him when he was coming back from Cancun. And the problem was he went on the flight to Cancun with a Texas mask. While he's fleeing the state because everybody's freezing to death. And people were taking pictures.
Catch people up a little bit.
Yeah.
People might have forgotten that this was like the whole like energy crisis and like Texas was like fucked and people were like literally freezing. And he like couldn't handle the cold and fucked off to Cancun.
Literally was just like, and he just left. And then he said, well, no, I was actually going to just drop my kids off and come back. Number one, even if that's the case, that's still bad, okay? The fact that you can evacuate all your kids and, like, come back. This is the stuff you, like hear, like, oh, yes, you're going to take your mom out of the nursing home while putting all the COVID people down. This is the stuff you hear, like, conservatives, like, rail against the left for all the time. But the thing that really gets me about this is we all know that wasn't the case. We all know he was getting out there because he wanted some nice summer fun. He didn't like dealing with the cold, and he abandoned his state in crisis. And this is the same man who, while president, would have had to deal with multiple crises. Could you imagine Ted Cruz, if this is what he did under pressure, managing the Afghanistan withdrawal? Could you imagine him reacting to a terror attack of some sort?
Well, it's kind of shockingly stupid. I mean, I don't really even have political instincts. I don't think about running for office or anything like that. But I would know you don't go to Cancun. Like, you have to stay with your like. What the fuck? Like, don't you think that's obvious? Like, shouldn't he have been able to see the backlash coming from a mile away?
I mean, I think maybe he thought he wouldn't get caught because the reason he was caught wasn't because like reporters got him. It was other passengers on the plane who took pictures of him and said, "I think this is Ted Cruz." And I remember seeing it live and thinking, that looks a lot like Ted Cruz. He's wearing what looks to be it looks like a Polish mask from this angle, but the other side is like the star and everything.
Oh yeah, blue in the star.
Yeah, exactly. So he's wearing a Texas mask, and I thought it was Ted Cruz, but I try to be careful when it comes to like breaking news and stuff. I did the same when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse and like any like breaking news story about some event. And so I waited, but then like eventually it was confirmed and he had to release statements and just get dragged over the coals. And the thing is, like, basically no one defended him. Basically, no, even Rob Nora was like, yeah, it was stupid. A lot of people tried to downplay it, you know, as if it really wasn't that important, right? But I feel like even though it's mostly just a meme, I just feel like it also shows that the man doesn't like take pressure well. You know, I mean, the dude like had him and his wife humiliated publicly, which I actually felt bad for him when that happened. It's the same reason, like, you know, Jackson Hinkle's getting dragged right now, for like
the dad Christmas tweets. That is so funny.
Did you see that? So if you guys don't know, like, and I'm gonna be the most sympathetic I've ever been to Jackson Hinkle in my life right now. Jackson Hinkle tweeted out like, "Here's 3 lies my family told me growing up. Santa Claus is real, some other thing, and the last one was that America fights wars to protect the homeland." And then his dad and his mom, his mom also responded in a separate tweet, responded like, "We never told you that. Stop lying. That's a lie." Then he responded like, actually, and he tried to like actually his parents, and he got ratioed by his parents. It was terrible. And then in that same interaction, right, fucking somebody else who is claiming, and we have no clue if this is verifiable, right, but the person sticking with the story, it seems, is also retweeted, because later he tweeted out, all my haters are ugly or have anime profile pictures. That's what he tweeted out later, because I don't know, he was coping or whatever. And then somebody retweeted him and said, "I fucked your girlfriend while she was dating you. She cheated on you with me." And then did like
just side drama.
And then did testimony about how they screwed his girlfriend. And unironically, I feel bad for the guy. I do. Like I feel like that's both of these. Like the first one's a little bit more funny, but I also like feel like a line in the sand for me is family. Like I feel like you don't go after people's family and stuff. And the second thing is, he got wronged there, right? In the second scenario. So I feel like it's not really something to like go out and like brag about. I understand why, because he was just saying everybody disagrees with me is ugly, and then like you could say, then why were people like cheating on you with me, right? I understand it, but I don't know, man. I feel like the intensity of what happened there is very off. I feel like it's a separate thing, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of fucked. Like, it's,
link the thread. Now I'm not gonna link the thread. I don't want to link the thread.
And another kind of funny angle about the Jackson Hinkle, my parents lied to me business. The second one, by the way, was the tooth fairy. Was that his parents were saying that they never said that shit, and then I think his mom admitted that she did, and she's like, "But it doesn't matter." So like, I think he was technically right. It's just,
but he still got
it's just the dumbest. Yeah, parents. Exactly. It's just the dumbest. There was
another one too when he was like, someone was like, "America in the last fucking however 100 years has never fought a defensive war," and then someone responded, "What about Pearl Harbor?" And he said, it's not really a defensive war. What happened at Pearl Harbor?" And then his mom responded, "Your grandfather certainly didn't think that, didn't agree with that, because it sounded like his grandpa fought against the Japanese and like
oh
the
my
Pacific."
God.
So he's like, "Oh really? It wasn't a defensive war?" Just oh my God, man.